Hi, it's your $2 Tuesday movie critic here today, and I am still doing Oscar nominations for 2025. So this time I am looking at the Best Animated Short Film nominations. So these were a very mixed bag here. Some of them were like, what's going on? I was like, what's going on in this film? And, I actually, for the first time, got to see these at the movie theater. They had the series of film shorts, both animated and live action. So I got to see all 10 of the nominations at the movie theater. And it was pretty good. It was my first time doing it. I actually have to say, too, that this was the first films that I went to where there was actually a nice size audience. Because most of the films that I've gone to see have been the live action long films and are standard. And really, sometimes I was the only one in the movie theater. It was kind of weird. But for the short films, there was a group of us, and we actually got to talk because they had a break in between the live action and animated films, and we talked about some of the films. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Not just the short films, but also some of the other films that we had seen that were Oscar nominated, because a few of them had seen some of the ones that I had seen, and I had seen some that they hadn't seen, and so we discussed those. And then they had seen a group of the short films that I hadn't seen, and we discussed those. They were like, don't say for the last two, it's not worth your time. And I won't tell you what those two were, but they were right. I didn't think I wasted my time, but those films were like, okay. Now, I have watched films where I did feel like I wasted my time, but I don't think I've ever felt that way about a short film. So let's get into the nominations. So we have Beautiful Men, The Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candies, Wonder, To Wonder, and Yuck. Okay, so A Beautiful Men. This is about three balding brothers that travel to Istanbul to have a hair transplant. I don't think I have ever said this about a film short, but this was way longer than it should have been. Okay, I can say that. The story is so ridiculous. I believe it is supposed to be a dark comedy, even though the storyline made sense. It became more ridiculous as time passed. And I saw this twice. I saw this once, I think it was Vimeo or YouTube, one or the other, that I saw it. And then when I went to see it at the theater, I saw it again. So yeah, I felt the same way about both times. Alright, the next film is In the Shadow of the Cypress. A former ship captain suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, lives with his daughter in a humble house located by the sea. It was a silent film, yet still very dramatic. I liked how the movie displayed the PTSD in a realistic manner, and the daughter's attempt to help him through it. I also like the metamorphosis within the actions, and you'll have to see the film itself to see what I'm talking about. But it was a very compelling short film. I really liked it. Magic Candies. A young boy named Dong Dong discovers a bag of magical candies. There is a video on YouTube that shows the movie stills, or rather the book the short film is based on. It is claymation, not animation. It is such a sweet story. The movie has more content in it than the book. It is such a sentimental film that really helps the little boy. Alright, and so like I said, I saw it both ways. I saw it on YouTube, and it was like the book version. And then when I went and saw it at the cinema, I saw the movie version. And I like the movie version better only because it was moving, it had more content. It actually made the story come alive like animated or moving films do. And it was just so, it was even sweeter than the book. But both were very, very sweet. So if you get to see it, a chance to see the book version on YouTube, watch that too. It was pretty nice. And then Wonder to Wonder. Actors Mary, Billy Budd, and Fumbleton star in a 80s TV series. But when the creator of the show dies, they are left alone in the studio and start creating increasingly strange episodes. If I had not read the preview, I would have had a hard time figuring it out. Initially, it just looks like old people watching reruns and outtakes of an old show. It was just a weird movie from beginning to end. Weird actually is probably not the word that I would use to describe it. Again, more like disturbing. And I watched this. Well, this was one of the ones. I actually only saw the previews until I saw it at the theater. This was just a disturbing movie. The more you watch, the more disturbing it gets. And then it gets, for me, it was really disturbing at the end. Even though some people may think the end was pretty, not necessarily happy, but a good conclusion or whatever, or a beginning to an end. I found it disturbing just because of the stuff they had been doing prior to. But all right, and the last movie is Yuck. A young boy finds kissing both repulsive and intriguing. This was such an adorable comedic film. The way the kids made fun of others and then each other was so innocent, with a slight mean streak. Okay. However, the discovery that a couple of kids make brings it all back to innocence and sweetness again. It is also very original. Not necessarily the concept of kids sticking kissing is gross. That's not original. But the concept of how they played it out and, saw how people that want to kiss each other, how their lips begin to glow, and the visualization of it all. It was so original. I had never thought of that before, but yeah, and it's so sweet. So I really love that about the movie. I enjoy watching it. It was one of my favorites. So for me, you probably already guessed, I had two favorites, Yuck and Magic Candies. They were wonderful. Although Magic Candies has more content, both movies use the sweet and innocent factor very well. But when it comes to award shows, drama usually wins out, which means the Cypress movie will probably win. I would choose Magic Candies. It does so much more with the little time it has. So both are lovely for me, Yuck and Magic Candies. And not just because they have kids in them. They're just so sweet and so innocent. And sometimes you just need a little bit of that, All right. Well, that's all for me, this segment. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think at the bottom of the screen. And I hope to see you next time.